Let's start. I welcome everybody. I'm Pam Snell from Axmod IT, and this is the dental managers meeting for December. And we've got some great speakers. We really appreciate them coming. And I'm going to start with Dr. Lisa Kane. Dr. Lisa Kane has a company called Dental Office Compliance. And if you were in our meeting last month, you know how excited she is about this new N95 Ready mask. And I have had some questions. So Lisa, why don't you start, and then we'll go into some of the questions that people have asked.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me back. I love you guys. Yeah, so ask me the questions because I have this mask. I'll show you guys all again for those of you who didn't see it. Oops, mine is stuck together. So it is an N95. It's totally NIOSH approved. It comes like this, and it's it's strapless. So it's so easy to put on, and it feels really good. It's, you don't have like the pains here, and you don't have, it's not as much pressure on your face, and it's real. For me, it's really easy to breathe out of. So I'm assuming that some of the questions were irritation to your skin.
Yes.
Yes. So my skin, I don't know if you guys have remembered me from other things. My skin looks fantastic right now compared to what it's looked like since I started wearing N95s. Like my whole face was all like eczema, and like my eyes were irritated. Since I've been wearing this, it's 100% better. Like, so there's two versions of this. There's this gray version that has this like super sensitive silicone adhesive, and I guess it's the kind of adhesive they use on infants and elderly people. So this is what I'm using. It doesn't bother my skin at all. There's another version, Avery Dennison also took this over, the same respirator, and they have a less expensive adhesive. So they're able to like sell this for like $1.25 or something, a respirator. And their adhesive is a little bit more, they say it's sensitive, and I've worn it and I've been fine with it. I just like to stick with this one just because I feel like, because my skin is so crazy sensitive, but it doesn't bother me at all. And so I think someone asked if it stays on. Was that the question?
Yeah. How long do they last?
So it's the same deal with any other N95. So the gray ones, because of the silicone adhesive, like I literally have them, you should see my car, like they're all in there, like folded like this. I think in an office, I wouldn't fold them. I would leave them open and like stick them flat on like some plastic or tin foil or something that, you could take off, because it's hard like to touch this with dirty hands or with clean hands and try to be aseptic, but they last as long as they last. So you cannot wear them if you have any makeup. Same deal with regular N95s. Like you can't wear them with facial hair. Denver over there like has his facial hair. Is that your name there? Yeah. Hair is fine, right? Because you can have, as long as it doesn't, it's like an inch-ish of sticky stuff. So as long as it's not in that area, you're fine.
So no face makeup.
No face makeup.
Not pretty scary without makeup on.
Yeah, but you know what?
Your eyes. You can do your eyes, but they're not seeing this part anyway.
Right. But here's the mind-blowing thing, Kim. You're not supposed to wear makeup with any of the masks.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Even the level 3.
I know.
Right? So like, if you wear makeup, this is kind of like forcing you. I like it because it's forcing you not to wear makeup, because it doesn't, if the makeup is inside of the N95s or the other mask, it like ruins the integrity of the mask.
What about the moisturizer though? Is that going to kill it?
So I put lotion on every morning.
Lotion and you're fine. Okay.
Yeah, I put lotion on every morning. I would not put lotion on like 5 seconds before you put this on.
My only question is, I'm asthmatic. I have a really tough time wearing an N95. I can't breathe in it. So I'm doing double level 3s on me because I can't breathe in one. How is this?
No. Did you get medical clearance?
No.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to get medical clearance to wear an N95. And my daughter, who's asthmatic, so she's like my guide, she can breathe in this.
She can.
She cannot breathe in a cloth mask.
Oh, isn't that funny? Because I don't have trouble with 2 level 3s. I cannot.
So
I wear it for the shortest time and I can't breathe in it.
So to me, like I went to the supermarket the other day and I put on like just whatever I had in the car, which was a level 3, and like my lips started to get itchy, like I could feel like that I was getting scratchy around here again, and I couldn't breathe well. Whereas I put this thing on and like I can breathe really well, but you need medical clearance for it. But level 3 can I just do a little public service announcement
Yeah,
here?
go ahead.
Okay, because you're an assistant, right?
Yep,
Along with being
Okay.
the office manager.
yep, I got my
So
shield.
you said you
on,
was your side.
double, yeah.
So according to OSHA and the CDC, you have to wear an N95 if you're doing any aerosol procedures, and it's for you. It's
Right.
not to try to be a pain in the neck, it's for you. And a level 3 does, honestly, putting 2 level 3s doesn't really even do anything because it's around the outsides of it where all the leakage is. So you're sort of just, what you're doing is like doubling it up, making it harder to breathe out of it. So now you're forcing it more to go out the sides.
Right.
So if you're insisting, I don't want
I
you
just
wearing.
gotta find when I can breathe in. I just gotta.
Yeah, no,
find
I
when
hear you,
can breathe in.
but I would rather, you can't wear, like, you're not supposed to wear level 3 if you're doing an aerosol, but in the meantime, I would rather see you wear 1 level 3
Okay.
and make it, and then doubling
Can't
up.
do this with it so that it's tighter. Is that like, is that?
Yeah,
what you-
because then like once it becomes, because the surgical masks are only good for an hour. And that's
Right.
because once it gets too hard to breathe out of that, you breathe out of the sides. So I would imagine, I mean, this may not be true, but I would imagine that the more you pile up surgical masks, the harder it becomes to breathe out of the front of it.
Okay.
And then you start breathing out of the holes.
Well, what about the girls that are wearing the N95 with a level 3 over that? Is that just stupid or?
So, I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have to have a fit test for an N95, right? If you have been fit tested for an N95, it is as fit as it is going to be. So you are not wearing a level 3 on top of it to make it so it fits better. You're only wearing it to protect for the splash. So I would not wear a level 3. I would get the cheapest mask that you have and
Okay.
stick that on top. Like I
Okay.
would not waste a level 3.
I can tell them, but they're all wearing level 3s over them. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really good at being the bad guy. And telling people because you don't, and also too, so there's 2 things. So first of all, you don't want to waste an expensive mask, and it's going to be harder to breathe. Like it's hard to breathe out of a lot of those N95s anyway. It's going to be harder the more thickness you put on, the more like, fluid resistance you put on, the harder it's going to be to breathe out of it.
Right. Okay.
And also, one of my questions that I got was, why do you have to have a fitting for this one where it seems so easy to just put on?
Because so first of all, there's a learning curve to put it on. Like you have to know how to put it on. So that's really important because when I was first putting it on, I wasn't doing it right because no one was passing the fit test. Then there's different sizes. So like I kind of they have no medium. It goes from small to large to extra large. So this is a large. I start with a large with everyone.
They all do though. They all go either small.
I asked him.
Why do they do that? Because
I don't know, but I asked him.
Small, but the other one's too big. It's like, so I wear the bigger one when I wear it, and it's still too big.
No, so that's why these are so cool. Like I'm picturing putting one on you right now and like how nice it'll feel. Like I got your size down.
Love it.
But the reason you need a fit test, well, 2 things. First of all, it's a law. You have to have a fit test if you're having N95s because you have to know that it fits. And second, like I'll put the large, I kind of start with the large on most people. Sometimes it doesn't pass. And then you go to the small or the extra large and then that passes. So like, it's not always exactly the size that you would think that it is. It's sometimes a different size, but you need, like OSHA, as I said last week or whenever this was a month ago, OSHA is like, it was $2.8 million that they got last time. It was since on Friday, it was $3.4 million they've gotten from COVID violations. I would say
violations.
Violations. And if you look at the list, which I like to look at every day, they're all respiratory protection. And their respiratory protection means not having the documentation that you need, not having fit tests, and not having medical clearance. And if you don't have those, you are in violation. And I feel like that patients and staff right now, they're scared. They have no one seems to have any filter about calling this.
So medical clearance not to wear one.
To wear one. So everyone,
even to wear one.
Yeah, so here's the deal. So people that have severe cardiac disease or severe lung disease cannot wear an N95. But people that have asthma usually can. They just say to them, listen, which is true to anyone, like if you're wearing it and you have chest pain, if you can't breathe, if you're like hyperventilate, like
I'm hyperventilating, that's why I don't wear one. Yeah.
Right. So if you feel like that, you're not wearing it. But most people with asthma, that is controlled asthma, they do give you clearance, but you have to have medical clearance. So you can go and what all you do is call your doctor and say, please send me an email that says Kim is healthy enough to wear an N95. And everybody needs that and it has to be in your documentation. Like you have to have hard copies of those. And if your doctor won't do it, I do have a nurse that can help out with that, but like it's easy. If you can get your doctor to do it, that's great. So you have to have that. Like that's not an option.
For my front people that aren't wearing N95s,
No,
they don't
only
need
people that are wearing
just my
N95s.
clinical. Okay, just my clinical.
That's
Now,
clinical.
can you
Mhm.
do a fit check for me? Do you do that?
I was
Mhm.
just gonna say that, Kim. What happened was we were
Yeah.
supposed to have a fit check day here at our office in Pembroke tomorrow, but we don't know what we were thinking. Nobody's coming on a Saturday before Christmas. So we
I know.
postponed that fit extravaganza till
It
January.
was an
and we'll do-
extravaganza.
Yeah, but the thing is that Dr. Kane will go to the office
Yeah.
and she'll fit test everybody and she brings masks and you can buy them from her at that time. I made her
I'll talk to
have them
Dr.
available because I thought that'd be crazy if we had all these people fitted for them and they couldn't get them. What good was that?
Yeah.
So I made
And I
it.
have don't go and buy this. I have a coupon code for this.
I've
It's
never
Dr.
seen them before. This is the first I've ever seen those.
Yeah,
Right, 'cause
they
Kim
are-
was on last month.
What is crazy is like he made this for 9/11, this guy that invented this. Like it's not even like he just made this for COVID. So they got NIOSH approval prior to this. And I don't know how, like, I wish I found out about this. I was going, I think I said this too, like I've been going to all these hygiene schools and I'll have like 100 kids and 5 of them will pass. And it was so frustrating because like, then what do you do? But now everybody passes with this as long as you're not wearing makeup, which a lot of them are. But that's what also like your eyes, make your eyes amazing.
Come on, you're
Okay.
killing me. You are killing me. That's all I put on is face makeup. You are killing me.
You know, but you look like your eyes are pretty.
Thank you.
But here's another thing too. So set aside this respirator. Every single day, officers are calling me, telling me they've had some sort of exposure. So it's always the teachers, the hygienist, the assistant, the front desk, someone who's with someone who had an exposure. So if you're wearing your PPE all the time, and that's like
You're
a surgical
fine.
or an N95, you're fine. So to Kim's situation, no one is going to see you without a mask, so you don't need to worry about makeup.
You're right. You're right. It's me, the gameness, you know.
You can see those nails; those look pretty. You can do that.
These are my own babies. Yeah, no more acrylics, nothing anymore.
No, but I'm saying is keep your eyes, do whatever you want with your eyes.
Okay.
People do that with their eyes.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So
So, does anyone here have a question about N95s? Lisa has found this company, so that's why, as I said to her, you've got to sell these. You can't go to an office and say, yeah, these work great, try this out, and then not have a quick source for them.
I'm going to show my hygienist
And I
this
don't get-
video later.
yeah, and I don't get a cut from it. I just need everyone to know that. Like they're not compensating me for selling these or anything like that.
What
I
are
just
they
love
per
them.
mask? How much are they per
So
mask?
this one that's more reusable, I think with my coupon code he gave me is like 3 something a respirator.
Okay.
The yellow ones that are more, so the N95s are supposed to be single use. The yellow ones that are more single use are $1.25.
Okay, but it's a single use, exactly. I want something that, yeah,
So
okay.
it depends on how, like, you can get it for more than one use. And it also depends on how adept you are at putting it on and off.
When
like-
you peel it off, does it feel funny when you're peeling it off?
The first time, yeah, it feels like a Band-Aid.
It
yeah.
does, okay. all
Yeah,
right.
but then like it doesn't, I don't think about it anymore. But people, I mean, when I fit test people, I'm like, okay, now take it off. They're like, they make these faces like your face is not going to come off. I mean, you know what it doesn't do? And like, I think I said before too, is it doesn't wax. It doesn't take out blackheads. It doesn't take off facial hair. It's
Great.
kind of a bummer.
Lisa, my question would be, how does it work with facial hair? Say if you
Yeah,
didn't shave that day, which I don't shave every day, like a little stubble, would it stick
Yeah,
as well?
you're
or-
not, excuse me. So for an N95, you are not supposed to have facial hair, every N95. but you can have what you have. I didn't see yours before because yours is so light. I was picking on Denver.
No, I just didn't shave today.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, people, you know, when I go to fit test, people are like, I'm not shaving it. You know, it probably would still fit on you. You know,
Well,
with like really
sticking is what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm saying it would probably still stick. You know, it depends. Like but it's the same for like any N95 as far as facial hair. It's not any different.
And they have to be compliant in an office. They've got to be compliant for all these things. So have you run up against any doctor that says that they're not going to wear it, or a hygienist that says they're not going to wear it because they have to shave?
Oh, any N95. Yeah, there's a ton of doctors that are like, I'm not shaving. But there's also a lot of people that I will come back and they'll be clean shaven, which is kind of cool.
It's kind of a matter of life and death, I guess, that they don't
Well,
feel that
because that's the thing, like, this is not, like, what I think is confusing is like, this is not to be a pain in the neck. Like, to wear these N95s, it's not because someone's like, you have to wear this annoying, uncomfortable thing. It's to save you and protect you. And my office manager just sent me this article that talked about how different particle sizes, and it was saying the particles that you have from just normal, like, breathing and talking are so small, and those are the ones that linger in the air for hours. And it was talking about how an N95 prevents you from getting that most of the time, like if it's properly sealed. So, I mean, they work. And especially like all you need is that one patient, if you have some patient that comes back and says, I tested positive, I was in your chair yesterday. And if you were not wearing an N95 for the aerosol procedure, you were exposed. And then if you're exposed, you're out of work for 14 days. So if you're wearing an N95, you're not exposed. Because if you're wearing the proper PPE, you're not considered exposed as a healthcare worker.
That's good.
That's sobering. Everyone's kind of like, oh.
Well, we hear on the news every night that this healthcare worker, this nurse, this doctor has died of COVID. And
I know.
You know, and to me, that's like, what happened? Did they let down their guard? Are they not using proper PPE? It's terrifying. I mean, because you think they're the ones that should be living through all of this, not, you know, we may get it from something else, and, you know, supermarket or whatever, but they should be.
No, it's really
totally
scary.
Safe.
Yeah. So my goal is like to protect dental offices, because that's who I focus on as much as possible. So to me, like, wearing the proper PPE is so important. It's annoying and like people hate it, but this respirator, I think, changes things a little and makes it more tolerable. Like I wear this like to the supermarket if I don't, you know, usually, except for that one time. My mom used to walk around.
It looks like the old masks from when they had all
the gas masks.
Yeah, or even like the ones that were from the plague.
Yeah, exactly.
That the you know in the in the Middle Ages.
This is what you need to do. You need to own it. Okay, you need to have enough self-confidence to be like, I don't care. Like, you need to make your hair like stupid colors because you don't want to go to the hairdresser to color your grays. Like, you know, I mean, seriously, like that is the biggest thing. People are like, I am not wearing that. But honestly, once people put it on, they don't care what it looks like anymore.
If I can breathe in it, I'll wear it.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, this is so comfortable. I just don't even
care how it looks. If I can breathe in it, I'm fine.
Yeah, I like you because you're just like, I don't care.
I don't care. Look at roots, like I don't care.
I can't see the roots. Yeah.
I do like my face makeup, but I'll get over it.
Yeah.
But no one is seeing you. If you want to take your face makeup, bring it to the office and put it on right before you leave, so that like when you go or home.
It's like an everyday thing. Getting out of doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
lotion, moisturizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So sorry, Lisa, do you have to put, if you use one, do you have to put that aside for a certain amount of time before you can reuse that same one? Kind of like.
So it's the same deal as another N95. So like, I know people have all these different things they're doing. To me, I've always felt like the best thing to do is to have 5 of them, maybe even like 10, like one for the morning, one for lunch, after lunch, and put them aside in somewhere secure, not somewhere sealed up. You won't want to seal it up in a plastic bag, but put it away for a week so that you have Lisa Monday AM or whatever, and then just leave it. Because the research has been that after 7 days, most of it dies. on a surgical mask or any kind of respirator mostly. So that's what I like. I'd rather see you do that. I don't want like, you know, he's the guy who invented it says you can disinfect it and you can do other stuff, but like, I'd rather just
We
have
have
it.
paper bags and they're open and they just put them in
Mhm.
there and they mark like Mondays here,
Yeah.
Tuesdays, for
And just
7
make-
days, and then, yeah.
Just make sure they're not open in an area where they're collecting aerosols.
No, they're not. They're not.
Okay, good, because people do that.
That's brilliant. That's really.
Yeah, I know.
brilliant. It's a brilliant move.
I know.
Thank you. That was
Thank
all
you.
excellent, excellent. And we will reschedule. You know, we have the parking, we have the protocols in place here.
Yeah, you guys.
And,
were- it was a great
and that
location.
we were going to have only 2 people in our office, in our big office. And Dr. Kane and a nurse were going to do it at separate areas of our office. And we were going to handle it just like, well, not with the beepers, Kim, but that we were.
I'll
we
let
would-
you my beepers. Saturday, I'll
Okay,
let you my
That's a great
beepers.
idea. We'll take that.
Yeah.
And then we would have just people coming into our office. And we would do the temperature check and we would do everything that we do on a normal basis in our office here. So, I mean, every employee here has
Yeah.
to have their temperature checked and
Yep,
and we
us
do
too.
contact tracing. If they go to your office, Kim, I've got a note that says they went to your office, just in case.
Oh, yeah, we
You know,
have the
things like that.
contact tracing in ours too, and the temperatures, and
Yeah. Yeah.
even though there's 50 million temperatures, depending on which thermometer you get.
Oh, absolutely. We have one tech
You
that's in
found
in the
one that
100
is-
degrees.
Yeah, I don't get it. Some of them, I'm like, I don't believe this. Like, I'd be dead if it was this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
can't believe the thermometers that I have upstairs.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kane.
Thank you, guys.
So our next speaker is Joe Diarmo. Joe, I've known you for years. I can't say your last name. Please say your last name for us.
Joe Duramo.
Diarmo, thank you. From PR Works. PR Works is a PR company that we've been doing business with and have been supported by and support for many, many years. And Joe has been writing some excellent articles about marketing. And I know from, I'm the marketing end of our business here, that you have to keep marketing no matter what's going on. I remember in the last slowdown, I had a very successful builder come to me. This was in the days when I was doing web design. And he says, I have to get my website up and I don't have any business right now. Well, if he had continued marketing even a little, he would have done so much better than he was doing now. So my advice and why I asked Joe to come was that I know that nobody has time right now. Kim, I'm sure you're beside yourself with everything. You're thrilled just to be here for an hour or two. And nobody has any money because you're all got less production happening because of the spread out of your schedule and the additions for all of the different new protocols. So I asked Joe to give us 10 tips when you don't have any time and you don't have any money to help market your practice. And also, Joe has done some successful marketing. And I know that one of the examples he's going to show you is from probably a practice you know. So go ahead, Joe. Thank you.
All right. So, well, thank you, Pam, for having me. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I'm going to see if I am the host now, so I can share my screen. So let me do this. There we go. So just a little bit about me. 10 tips to market your practice when you don't have enough time or budget. So I'm just going to fly through these, and with a smaller group, I think I can just, if you have any questions, just shout them out as we move along. The one thing to speak to what Pam was talking about is when the pandemic started, we kind of upped the ante on our marketing efforts too. We went from a monthly newsletter to a weekly newsletter, and then we added a second weekly newsletter, which was called Feel Good Friday, which was to recognize businesses doing things extra during COVID. And over the years, we've worked with a number of dental practices, but one consistently has been the Tooth Boss, which is a practice in South Weymouth, Dr. Richard Wolfert. And you're going to see him all over this. And that was one of the things he kind of represented what our approach to the whole pandemic was, is like, either you you can call a ceasefire and wait it out, or you can up the ante and go after it and try to fight to survive. And that's kind of been our approach with all our clients. Been Dr. Wolfert was a good representative of that. Just a little bit about me. I've been with PR Works for, I've been working for them for 14 years. The firm itself has been around for 30. It's owned by Steve Dubin. It's based in Plymouth. We work mostly with regional clients. We do have some national clients as well. My personal background is I got my first job as a copywriter working for Barnes & Noble. I used to write for their hard copy catalog back when they had one. And I've also written a newspaper column for the News Tribune in Waltham, and written a few books of my own. Recipes for the Roommate Impaired was one I wrote many years ago, and then How to Go from Stepfather to Stepdad was another. And the clients I've worked for typically are small businesses, some franchisors and franchisees, and of course, a dental practice is one of our clients. This kind of goes without saying, but I know there probably are still dental practices who don't have websites. Basically, you must have one. You must have one. It's basically, if you don't have a website, you're pretty much deciding that you're content with your current patient load and that you'll get word of mouth referrals. And even that is kind of a, if you refer somebody, chances are they're going to look you up online. If you don't have a website, it's just have one. Especially have one that makes it easy for you to be communicated with. So you want one with ways to contact you, the services you offer, the insurances you take, hours of operation, just basics at the very least. If you don't have the money for a full website, a one pager with that information, it's easy enough to get on short dollars. Signage that traffic can see. When we first started working with Dr. Wolfert, I had trouble finding his location on Route 18 in Weymouth. It was really difficult to see, and I made that point to him, and he took it to heart. And I'm going to bounce around a little bit. He must have a relationship with his landlord, because what ended up happening was all of a sudden trees started getting clearer and his signage improved. And I didn't notice this till I started playing the video. This was a video, but that's not what it looks like from, I don't know if everybody can see that. That's what his signage now looks like from Route 18. And he took it one step further and added a wrap on his car. So, signage is one of those things you pay for it, you have it, and then it's not something you need. It needs a lot of maintenance after that for the most part. So make sure you have decent signage for your practice. Google My Business is an interesting one, and I'm not sure how many dental practices will take advantage of this offering. Basically, you can list your business on Google. You can claim your location, and I'm going to go to his listing just to show you what that looks like. I'm sure most of you probably know what it looks like. Minimize here. So basically, when you do a search on a business, you'll get the natural organic listings. Like here's Dr. Wolfert, but here's his Google My Business page. This thing gives you a chance to leave Google reviews. As you can see, he's got 48 5-star Google reviews. You can put in information like your hours of operation. You can also put in updates. So there's some updates here. I don't want to click on that. That's a free listing that any practice can take advantage of. And what that does is it will put you in, when you do a search on a business or a type of business, Google Maps will often put in, let me just, I'm trying to find the location here. It will it will basically have what's called a 3-pack. So that typically will feature the 3 businesses that either have the most Google reviews or are most search engine friendly. So if I did a search now on, I know I need to do some work on Dr. Wolfert, but this is how much these things change. South Weymouth dentist. You'll see a screen right here. It's part of Google Maps, and then you'll see 3 listings. And as you can see, those rank better than the listings,
We're not
the
seeing that,
organics.
Joe.
You're
We're
not seeing
no,
that?
We're seeing the Brady Bunch screen.
I must have stopped sharing. Sorry.
Mike, I have a question. What about, my fear with Google is if you have bad reviews on there, they never can go away, do they? I mean, can you control your reviews that go on there?
You can, but I don't recommend it because it, Google may negatively react to you. There are programs out there that will only list your good reviews.
That's
Google
why
does,
I haven't done it, because I mean, I get pretty good reviews, but let's face it, not everybody's happy with you. And I know with social media, a bad review or something that somebody says can kill your business.
But
So
Kim, the thing with that is that if you respond to that negative review in a
Exactly.
positive manner, like, I'm sorry that you felt that way,
right,
please call our office. And what happens is that gives you, I've read lots of reports, probably Joe has too, that people don't look at the 5 stars. They look at the 4 stars, the 3 stars. What problems might I have and how do they handle it?
okay.
And that's how I mean, I just bought a couple things on Google. I don't look at the 5 stars. I look at
I
the,
get
go from the
Google calls
bottom
me.
up. And see
Google
how
and
they handle
Yahoo
it.
call me like once a week to get on there. And we've always said, no, I don't want to deal with that, just because if we get a bad review on there, how's that going to affect my business? So I've never chosen to do it. So this is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't like Yelp.
Real.
I think Yelp is worse.
Yelp
Yeah.
is the other one.
Yelp
Yeah,
Yelp is and you pay for that. So that's also, I have lots of things I can say about Yelp that I don't like, but
Yeah.
it's Google. You say things good. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
well, we're working with a program now where you can screen out. Basically, it offers 2 things. It's a review generation program that allows you to reach out to your mailing list for reviews. Those will go to your website if you have a review page on your website, and then we'll offer them the option to put it on Google. So it's a way to get good reviews on your website and to Google, onto your Google My Business page. And it's a way to control things. And in terms of the negative reviews, yeah, you don't want them, but you do have the opportunity to respond. If you do so in a manner that shows you're being proactive and you're trying to address the issue, not only does that, it might not satisfy the person who left the bad review to take it down, but it will show other people that, you're willing to work with folks. And, more often than not, it reflects on the person who left the review, especially if you've got a lot of other really good reviews and there's one bad review. So you figure there was some sort of circumstance that led to it. So, bad reviews will happen. How you react to it is kind of then on you, and there are ways to work around it. So
I feel like if it's always 5-star, then they're not real.
Right.
So I think
yeah,
it makes you look real.
it's one of the reasons you want to get testimonials as well as the 5 stars. And you want to have, and that's why these review programs are better than just asking people to go leave me a 5-star review, because they act as a way to get, things you can really pinpoint, like, Dr. So-and-so took care of my root canal in an efficient manner and adjusted to my, you want specific things like that. So yeah, you're right. The 5-star reviews, people can look past them at times if they're just leaving 5 stars and not saying anything. All right, I'm just going to move on here. One of the things we've put in for Dr. Wolford, he actually had this in place, and most practices will have some sort of referral program. So if somebody refers a new patient and they become a patient, the person who referred them will get a gift card to Stockholders Restaurant in Weymouth. That's been a really popular program and a good way to incent people to leave, to refer new patients. Another effective tool for your practice is an email newsletter. Monthly is good enough. During COVID, when there was a shutdown, we actually increased the number of newsletters just to keep people aware of the updates to the practice to keep it safe. And that was during closure. When closure stop when we reopened, the Tooth Bath reopened, we started doing more, or just to let people know we're open for business. Typically, we've used Constant Contact, but some practices use things like RevenueWell and other services. Many of those offer templates so that you can create a newsletter with fairly heavy lifting, fairly little heavy lifting, and many of those offer social media campaign tools as well, like content. I recommend, the canned content is good in some cases, but if you can create your own news, I think it just has more, it resonates more with the audience. Similarly, social media, for Dr. Wolfert, we have Facebook and Twitter pages. We've dabbled a little bit in LinkedIn, but I honestly haven't felt it to be very effective. I think for some reason, dental practices on LinkedIn, it just makes them more of a target for people trying to sell to them. So it hasn't necessarily worked on LinkedIn. Instagram is another thing. If you're posting a lot of pictures to your Facebook page, Instagram's kind of a natural. And YouTube has certainly been something that we've looked into, and I don't want to lose you guys again, but we did. Are you guys seeing this?
Yes.
So we created a YouTube station for Dr. Wolfert's practice. And just little short tips on various things. I'll come back to this in a minute, but I just wanted to show that as one of the social media channels. Another thing we created for Dr. Wolfert was a recognition program. His history was that he worked for a practice in the late 80s and then purchased it. And he's basically kept a lot of the same patients. So we created the Tooth Boss Hall of Fame, which is a recognition program for people who've been coming to the practice, whether it's his or his predecessors, for 30 years or more. And there must have been over 100 people who fit that category. So we created some tchotchkes and a nice bag, had a hot and cold cup, an eyeglass case holder, some sanitation products, and that was a giveaway to those folks. And we used it as part of our social media campaign. So we take photos and those would go to a Facebook page. And I think we did probably a press release or two announcing that. So we did get some nice bang for our buck out of that market wise. We also created what's called a Smiling Neighbor Award recognition program. Basically, we get recommendations from patients, but also just people who are our patients as well, people that the doctor knew were doing some good things in the community. This woman here owns a hair salon nearby, who is a sponsor of sports teams and other programs like that. And it's a quarterly program. We would basically recognize somebody, let them know you've won the Smiling Neighbor Award, and they would have a choice between a gift card to stockholders and a Sonicare toothbrush. More people chose the toothbrush than you might think. So we would get a decent amount of media coverage. So we take a picture with them, put out a press release. This next slide gives you an example of a press release that went out. And this particular group, this was during COVID. And this was interesting that we had to do a Zoom call for the COVID. So I took a picture of the Zoom. But this part of a lot of dental practices might be thinking, oh, we really don't have a lot of news going on at our practice that's worthy of a press release. And we create programs like this to create those opportunities. Where these really come into play is that when people hear about your practice, and it could be a referral from somebody they know and trust, but they are going to do a search, and they'll get your website, they'll look up your website. And of course, most of us put together websites because we want to promote our business. So having content about your practice on a third-party site, like a newspaper or a site that's like a news release aggregator, it offers some third-party credibility that you just don't get on your own website. And again, it just makes the decision easier for somebody to come in and try out a practice. I mentioned videos earlier. We did do a bunch of snippets. This one here is on, I don't give, can you hear that?
No. We can hear noise, but not what he's saying.
Okay, well, I mean, the idea basically is that we created a bunch of videos for Dr. Wolfert to show his areas of expertise, little short snippets. Those would get used in the monthly newsletter. They would be posted to the social media channels. And one of the big efforts during COVID was, since he had implemented so many different things, we put together this video here. We actually hired somebody to do this one. This wasn't a PR Works project. You may not be able to hear this, but I'll just let it play for a little bit. Basically what the video did is it demonstrated all the different protocols. You see right here, the please call the office before entering, different things, stops. And this video went a long way towards comforting and assuring current patients that it's safe to come here now. We've done all this work. We've put in extra measures, and it's gotten 653 views to date, which, you know, compared to some of the videos you hear going viral, doesn't sound like much, but when you're dealing with a mailing list of about, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand at most, a good percentage of people were interested in learning about what he's doing to keep things safe. So, and he, to this date, he gets a lot of good feedback. So that's more or less the presentation. I'm going to stop the screen share. Do folks have any comments or questions or topics about marketing you'd like to? I see the chat here. I don't know if there's a.
Do you like the video on the website? You think that's a good idea? Like saying what you've done in your practice and all of that? Does that get a lot of hits on the website? Or just
Yes,
social media, so the website itself, okay.
it's on both places, and we've actually I've used it multiple times. I've used it to we basically, one of the things we did was we created a blog post with the video linked to it. So
Okay.
that just to make sure people are getting to it. And I wouldn't say every newsletter we've put out during pandemic, but most of them I've had a link to it, just
And do you
because
like
there's,
the doctor to do that? Do you think it's more effective if it's the doctor versus a hygienist or an assistant or myself, an office manager? What do you think?
I think I think the doctor has more credibility to do it, but I think doing it period is worth it. So if the doctor doesn't have the bandwidth to do it, then having the hygienist demonstrate
Yes.
what you've done, I think that's absolutely appropriate. And since,
Okay, great.
you know, when I call Dr. Wolfert, I can sometimes get him. I know when I call the hygienist, I can't get them at all
Right.
because they're that
I
busy.
just
So
wondered how many hits it gets. Like I know on my website, I wish I knew how many hits my office tour got, because we have an office tour that shows the office, because I think it probably gets more hits than I'm thinking, because when I was looking at other websites, I hit that stuff. So
do you use Google Analytics?
no, we use Sesame does our website. We're actually in the process of redoing it right now through them.
Well, Google Analytics, you can actually insert into your site so that you can
Oh,
get
you
a,
can.
yeah.
Okay.
Free.
So, and that's a free tool as well. I didn't mention that in my presentation, but that's a free tool you can use as well to find out, you know, how much traffic you're getting and where the traffic is going.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's called Google Analytics.
Mhm.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Actually, Kim, I think that we have an article on Google Analytics in this
a
newsletter
great
you
tool.
just got.
Oh, cool.
I
That's
think
great.
it's either this one or the last one. So I
Okay,
forget which
no,
one.
that's awesome, because we're just in the process right now of redoing ours and updating it. It's
Yeah.
amazing how we did it 3 years ago, how it needs, already it's outdated,
Sure.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, it's in general, that's how, you know, a website is a draft, always a draft document. It's always, you can always update it and change it. And, you know, it's something, you know, is the website you had 5 years ago good enough? Maybe, but it's how you present to people. And as you know, the people who are looking at websites are younger folks in general, so they want to see something that's a little bit more polished. So updating on a regular basis is always a good idea.
Helps with your hits too.
Yep, absolutely. Any other questions?
That was great. Thank you, Joe.
Well, thank you, Pam.
It's
Thank
great.
you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you, very nice.
Before we get to Dr. Johnson, I'd like to just have everybody else who's here just tell you who they are. We've met Kim a couple times. Kim is the office manager for artistic dentistry in Hanover. And Chris, you're stepping in for Nancy today. You want to tell a little bit?
Yes, I'm her business manager for Rosen Summit Dental Advisors. Hi, Dr. Johnson.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Well, how are you?
We've spoken. We've never been on Zoom together, but we've
Yes.
spoken. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I started with Nancy as a clinical consultant. I have 30 years as a dental hygienist, and also I'm a part-time clinical instructor at Mass College of Pharmacy in their dental program as well. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And Denver, you were in our November newsletter, I believe. You want to tell a little bit about your company?
Yes, the company is Gibbs Software Solutions. Our product is Local Lease 365. We are located in Braintree.
And it does what?
And it provides real estate transactions data in real time of new movers. So everyone that purchased a property, a home yesterday, the software gives them the information today and allows the dentist practice to market to them. So you market to new movers in real time, the day after they purchase a home.
I know when I was managing an office that I bought lists, and you'd send out letters to these prospective families to get them to your practice. And I can't tell you how many of them came back. It was terrible. It was a lot of work, a lot of effort, and we never really got anything out of it. Whereas that's what you think that too, Kim? Can you unmute?
I did it for years.
You did, yes. And what did you get out of it?
Nothing. And I stopped doing it because I didn't feel we were getting any new patients. I was getting new patients by word of mouth
Right.
and by the yellow pages, but I was getting nothing from, we used to call the bankers and tradesmen. We would buy a list from them and we never got anything from it, one or two.
So why I asked Denver to write an article is that this is so fresh. Like if they bought the house yesterday, you can send them hey, this is great letter. And I mean, it's going to get to them because it's brand new. You're not worrying about, I can't tell you how, I would see that in our office, we've moved several times that they had our old addresses and, it just wasn't up to date. This is totally up to date. So take a look, and I'll also post that again on our website so people can take a look at that, Denver.
Denver, what's the name of the company again?
It's called Local Lease 365.
And do you take care of all the postage and all that stuff?
Yes, we do. But I think what we need to do is also probably use the resources and help with marketing. Because I think that some of the local practices that I'm dealing with, they're offering gift certificates to restaurants now, which is probably not the best thing to do.
Right.
So some are, I think when they have a robust marketing person, is very effective. I think if the marketing individual in the practice is a little bit stale, then it still becomes a challenge with us educating them on how to market the product. But we've implemented fulfillment because we realized that the office staff, they don't have the time. So we built a relationship with local printers so that once a week, the letters will go out or the postcards will go out to the local families. And it's been working for them and we're very excited. I think, yeah.
Thank you. I will put that article back up to this on the front page of our Dental Managers Society website. So
Thank you, Pam.
Okay. And Kim, you want to just tell a little bit about your practice?
Hi, Kim McDonald from Nankin Dental in Quincy, and I do front desk and marketing. I'm kind of bummed out because I would always go out and deliver toothbrushes to companies and stuff, but we are getting 5 to 6 new patients a day. I don't know if offices are just closing
Great.
and people are looking, or people are up grinding their teeth all night because they're so stressed out, but I'm like, they're going to never send me back out marketing because we just have so many new people.
That's great.
It
That's
is
a
great.
Good problem to have.
I know, but yeah, I liked all the tips from Joe, and I've kind of tried to encourage the doctors to do a video, because I feel like when you're looking for a new dentist, to look how sterile and clean and just go around the office, I think that's what they might look for first.
Yep.
You know, if they look at
His,
they see bags and all that crap behind it, they go, I'm not going there.
yeah, no, his inspiration for doing that was a
Nobody
doctor in
comes in this
Korea.
office.
Say that again, Joe.
Dr. Wolfert's inspiration for the video was this dentist in Korea who he researched the things that he had done. And Korea has handled us much better than the States have. And was kind of his model. And that's what I said, well, we should do the same sort of video here. And he was on board.
Yeah.
And we hired a local guy from Quincy, and he did a great job in short order. It was really, it wasn't a lot of money. I think it was maybe $1,500. Which for an edited video, it's like a 10-minute video. So that's a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah. And they also, I don't know if every office is doing this, but they bought some kind of fogger. So they fog
Yep,
the office.
The
every
mister,
night.
sure.
So I thought maybe people don't know. Maybe they'd
That's
like
right.
to see someone
That's a
doing
good
that
point.
extra stuff.
I post on Facebook, my boss fogs it every weekend.
Mhm.
And patients want to see that, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm surrounded in PPE in here. This is like the PPE area of my office. I don't even have cabinets anymore. I have masks and everything in it because I bulk buy everything, but they want to see sterile areas is what they want to see. So we cleaned everything in our operatories. There's nothing on our counters anymore. We took pictures down. I mean, we took everything down because patients perceive cleanliness and sterile with nothing. So that's, another thing that was important.
I just posted that video in the chat if you guys want to check it out at your leisure.
We did talk about videos, I think, when we were all in the lockdown stage with our meetings. And I remember Dr. Wolfson's was one of the first ones that came up, and there was another one by a hygienist. Excellent. And
I have another idea for a video. That water lines are huge. There's a huge water line case that was supposed to be in COVID time, but it will be public, and they're going to pay out millions of dollars to people, and it's going to be in the news. So I am a huge fan of doing those. I don't have my water line test with me, but like showing on social media or showing a video of your water line test that you do in office and showing how clean it is, and how you're actually taking care of it. I think that's going to be like really big coming down.
Lisa, will you write an article about that? Just a little quick article that
I will.
Thanks.
If you remind me,
I
because
will.
I don't have a piece of paper.
I will. But I did. Great. So, and Deb, who's showing, I believe, is Deb Spicer from Social Oral Surgery, and she doesn't have a microphone. So I think that's what happened last time. I teased her while we were recording saying, and Deb, you're awful quiet today. And she said, well, she texted me later and said it was because they haven't got a microphone on that and on her computer. So thanks. Well, Dr. Johnson, I'm so thrilled to have you here. This is so interesting. I'm a grandmother of 2 young children.
Oh, okay.
And they have sleepovers at our house every other weekend, and toothbrushing is an issue. So when Nancy Kagan told me about your program and this new product, I was all excited. So if you could tell us all about this, and also I believe it's also an opportunity for income for a practice as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And thank you so much, Pam, for having me on here today. my name is Paul Johnson. I'm a pediatric dentist in Wellesley, and I've been doing this since 1998. And I wanted to share with everybody in our office, and maybe in a lot of other offices, a very common scenario that we have. I mean, if we have children who come in, and they come in with their parents quite often, and we sit them down for a checkup, and we're picking out toothpaste and flavors and different things. And I'll always ask the parent, or the hygienist will always ask the parent, do you have any concerns about your child? Anything going on? And more often than not, they'll say something like, he's not brushing, or when I tell him to brush, I don't really know if he's doing it. You know, it's sort of an everyday, sort of a nagging type thing every day. And then we'll, of course, then turn to the child and ask, how often are you brushing their teeth? And they'll say, twice a day, or they'll say we're missing. And it's almost like this little kind of routine that we've been doing over and over again. Everybody knows the questions. Everybody knows the right answers. Sometimes you get people who are honest, and sometimes they sort of fabricate what they're doing. And it's sort of, you go round and round. And a lot of times, we'll look at the children's teeth, and it's quite evident that they're not brushing their teeth, and nobody's really surprised about this. So what we've done in the past is we've tried to motivate the child, and, we'll have, like, a lot of you are probably familiar with like a brushing chart, and there are more colorful ones. And well, write your name on the top and keep track of when you brush your teeth. The whole idea is to try and build good habits, and we'll hand these out, or we'll say, sometimes the parents will say they're brushing so quick, and then we'll say, well, get one of these little, hourglass timers, and we used to hand them out, put this on. And the American Dental Association recommends brushing twice a day for 2 minutes with a fluoridated toothpaste. So there's your 2 minutes. So we're doing that. And then remember those old disclosing tablets we used to have when we used to go, those red ones? And a lot of times parents will say, maybe this is what we need. Like, do you still have those things? I mean, I don't know. I guess they do. I did check. They do still make them. But I would say to them, I said, well, you can probably buy them on Amazon, but I'll tell you right now where it will turn red on their teeth. They'll be all along the gum line, but if you want to do that to demonstrate what I'm telling you, you can do that. And then there's the other thing about, nagging. Parents will nag their children. So these are all efforts to just try and get the kids to brush their teeth, right? So it's frustrating to see that over and over, to have the same things coming back. And then it gets even more frustrating if we have children come in and they've got a lot of decay. We'll take care of all the decay, we'll come back, we'll go over the brushing, and nothing really changed. And around we go. So last spring, I became aware of a new company in Massachusetts that was developing a sensor. And they were trying to find a use for this sensor. First, they were thinking, could we put this sensor on a pill bottle? It detects movements, and to remind people to take their pills, or maybe in a liquor cabinet to see if your 16-year-old kid is, having a martini when you're out to dinner, and you could. So they were trying, and then they kind of came up with the idea, like, what is something somebody does every day that they're trying to do? And toothbrushing, became the first thing they were thinking of. And that's how they contacted me to consult with them and to kind of weigh in on this. So fast forward a bit, and what we have is a sensor which fits on a toothbrush. And I have one here. It comes in all different colors, but it's a stretchy sensor that can fit on any brush. I happen to have it on a Oral-B device here. And what it does is, once it's set up, and it's a very simple setup, it monitors and it tracks every brushing event. It says how long you're brushing, and it also will show an area and a diagram of the mouth and the areas that are being missed. And that alert comes up on your cell phone. It's attached to a hub, which plugs into the wall, which collects all the data for the whole family, and then it feeds it out to wherever you want to go. So sometimes the older children will have their own device, and they'll see a brushing event come up, and then always the parents will have their device, and it will come up. And from there are all these other bells and whistles you can do. You can put a reminder on there. You can change the beep timer to tell you how long they're brushing, and it gives all that information. And what we have found, the patients who are using this, the parents are no longer needing to nag their kids, because all they have to do is just say, hey, great job with the brushing. I saw you brush. They'll get this little ding on their phone, or the child will go over and ask the parent, oh, let me see my score. It will keep track of the brushing for them. And the children really respond to the positive reinforcement there. And then when we have them come back into the office, I can actually pull the data up, because there's a feature on there, which we recommend everybody does. The vast majority of people do it. It's a share with dentist feature. So we get the data compiled, sent right to our office in real time. So when they come in, I'll bring it up. I can look at an overall, it's a bar chart. I can see overall all of the brushing data for the child, and I can see which areas of their mouth they might be missing. I can see how long they're brushing, if they're missing, what the patterns are. And now we've gone from this, very subjective conversation to looking at objective data, which is really useful. And it's an insight, and it's sort of illuminated a blind spot that we've had, because we really didn't know what we didn't know before. And the result of that has just been kids that have started to really take ownership of this task that we've asked them to do, and they're excited about it. And it has some other applications too, even beyond children, like just
I was
even
just
old.
gonna say that we're finding it with a lot of teens now are coming in with rampant decay. And I had one girl, 22 years old, sit in my chair and tell me, I have to be frank with you, I don't brush my teeth. I'm like,
Yeah.
After 34 years, I'm used to hearing stuff, so I wasn't totally bizarred out by it. But it's older people too, or the
Yes, it
elderly.
is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that teenager telling you that she doesn't brush, just imagine her saying, no, I brush twice, not telling you the truth. Yes, I brush twice a day. I don't know what's going on. I mean, we go round and round with this dialogue as well too, where people will not, and there's good reason not to. The thing is that whether we're questioning them, and regardless of the answers they're giving us, this device, it will tell us what is actually going on. And it is not about catching them. It's not about exposing them. It's working with them. Because the interesting thing is, and I started using this right away to see what it was doing, I really didn't realize how long 2 minutes was. It's you know what I mean? So, I have to be honest. And a lot of times, right or wrong, we have a way that we brush our teeth, and we kind of go on autopilot, and we're doing this and this and this. And I was realizing that I wasn't spending enough time on the lower left, on the lingual surfaces. And then I look at my diagram, and I can see it's highlighted in red, and I'll focus on that. And then the next time it looks better.
Do you find it helps with parents too of teenage kids who are insisting that they're brushing? So you're seeing this child, you're going over all this with the kid, you've got to brush hair. They're not brushing as a dental professional, but the parent's like, oh yeah, Johnny goes in and brushes. I think this would be ideal, that you could pull up a chart for a parent and say, okay, well, he brushed for a half a second here, or he totally missed this area. I think it sounds like a wonderful tool.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is, with the older patients, they're motivated by money or screen time or something like that. There's you can just tie it into 14 brushings a week, and then you get your allowance. You can put it right into their Venmo account. For younger kids, you can tie it into their screen time. So some of the older kids, you might think, well, who's going to do this? They're going to have walk around with an ankle bracelet or something so we can monitor where they are, where their whereabouts are. But a lot of kids, you'd be surprised. They know they're supposed to be brushing their teeth. They would much rather trade you being aware of their brushing if they're going to then get whatever allowance or whatever privilege you're going to give them. They're happy to do it. They'll say, I'll use this device. If you're going to give me $20 a week, I'll brush my teeth. In their mind, they're very practical. They're like, I'm supposed to be doing it anyway. So it's kind of the nice thing about this is it builds different ages. Certain features of it are more effective, are what motivates people. Some of the parents, and I don't ever promote, negative reinforcement, but the whole thing of, if you don't brush your teeth, you're going to have a cavity and they're going to drill your, I mean, this whole fear type thing. So they'll say, aha, you missed. And, you know, I'm not about to tell parents how to parent their children, but there's something for everybody as far as motivating them on this. So we've been really, really pleased, and it's really wonderful to see patients come in, kids that have struggled in the past, and they light up when you say, look, I see a really good pattern here. Because I always lead with the positive, because there's always something you could pull out of it that's positive. Like, hey, great, I see you brush your teeth once this week. Let's go for 2 times. You know, we can always start somewhere. But the nice thing is that we know what's happening now, and we never did before.
Dr. Johnson, do you have some slides or a PowerPoint or whatever to show? What I was amazed about when I looked on the website was that you can actually, like you said, the lower lingual that you're missing on the left, it actually has a chart of the teeth, and you can see where they actually touched. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, it's a diagram. You know, the head of product and sales, Rob White, who was on the email that went out, was supposed to join us, and he just let me know that he's not able to join us right now. But he did have that. He did have those diagrams there. But there's a website called truthbrush.com, and I haven't screen shared on here. I'm not sure. I don't know if we want to do that if it's too technical,
yeah,
or
if
we can
you got that, I'm going to make you a host and you can do that. There you go. But I thought that was unbelievable, because our big thing with our 4- and 6-year-old grandchildren is we do the 2 minutes. We have an electronic timer. It plays music. We're IT people. We have to, you know, spend more than the little bit of that little the sand timer. But I know that they're not getting anything. And if we can actually show them,
Yeah,
they're very visual.
let me show you on here. Like this is, I know this is super low tech, but this is just something that we're developing we're going to develop something for dental offices to have to kind of show people what it is. But you can see these green and blue bar. This is a typical, you know, what it will show, like a morning and an evening brushing of what it will see. And this will pop up on your cell phone. And then much smaller on the bottom here, but let me see if I can show you. Yeah, this is probably what you were referring to.
I'm going to see if I can
right
bring
here.
it up on my screen.
See right here? So there's an arch of the mouth, and it will highlight which areas you're missing. And the parents will get that data every day too. And we'll have the dentist portal will get more of a blended or an overall impression. We could look at individual brushing events, but we can also see patterns as well.
Yeah, I thought it was in the, you have all sorts of cute little different attachments.
There are a lot of different designs. Yeah, the one that I particularly like is the unicorn. We have this one. We've got a spaceman. We've got a heart. We've got a flamingo. There's, you know, kids love picking out whichever color they would like, and anything to kind of make it easier and more attractive
That goes
for them.
right on to a power brush. So
It can fit on it. That's what's wonderful about it. It can fit on any power brush. It can fit on any manual brush.
Which that's great, because we sell the Sonicare ones for children, and not a lot of people buy them, but the ones that do, the feature that they like the best is when the kids brush with the Sonicare, there's an app on there, they can build points up. I know my nephews use that and they love it, but it doesn't exactly show where they're brushing, whereas this is ideal.
So the difference, there's a lot of smart toothbrushes, or if there are other smart toothbrushes on the market, which, you know, sort of attempt to do what this one does, but they're all Bluetooth connected to a cell phone. So that might say, well, that's great, everybody has a cell phone. But if you think about it, when you have a younger child, that would mean every time that child goes into the bathroom to brush his or her teeth, they have to go and get the mother's cell phone, bring it in, connect it up to the brush, make sure that's working. So I guess the parent would have to be in there to do that as well. And there's a huge reliability problem with getting consistent data. And it's, like I said, it's not about catching them. It's about looking at patterns over time. If you miss a brushing here or there, that's okay, but we're looking for patterns over time. So this device has, and I mentioned this at the top of the discussion, it has something called a hub. And all that is, it's a little plug. It goes right into the bathroom. That connects to your Wi-Fi. It collects all the brushing data for your family. because that is connected Bluetooth to the toothbrush, to this device. So it's always there. And once it collects all the data, then that hub sends it out to whoever logs into the account. You could send it anywhere you want, unlimited. You know, mom and dad can, if they're in different homes, can watch it. You can, like I said, share it with the dentist. The child can log in. So all the information is there. So what really sets this device apart is the reliability. All of the information is captured. There's no on button. There's no off button. When you pick the device up, it starts to recognize what a real brushing movement is by a certain amount of time and a certain type of motion, and brushing more than one quadrant. That's how it would recognize a brush event. And we get a tremendous amount of raw data. And what we do with the raw data is then we have turned that into what's meaningful for us to look at. And that's why we want to see how long is the brush held in one position per quadrant in the mouth. It's called an accelerometer. That's what's inside it. So it basically, the way I like to explain it is the device knows where it is within space. So if you're brushing in this area, it realizes where it is, and then you turn over this way, then the device recognizes where it's in a different area. And the reliability is really, really impressive and really, really good.
I just put a link to the tracker page in the
What
chat
is the
too.
cost, doctor, per unit?
So that's something. So the price for patients that we have been doing in our office is $30 for the sensor.
Great.
Okay, and then you need to get that hub, and that's one per family, which is $20.
Okay.
Okay, but depending on the type of practice you have and different factors, I think that people can set the price however they like. I mean, there are some, I've talked to different orthodontic offices and their start visits. It's so important if you look at it, especially, well, it's important for everybody, but
for ortho, it's
ortho. I mean, the hygienists, pediatric dentists, and ortho and periodontists, I guess, but
yeah.
super invested in oral hygiene and the importance of it, especially when you start putting braces on kids and they've had trouble in the past. A lot of orthodontic offices are giving away Sonicare toothbrushes as part of the package, which is great.
Yeah, with our perioscaling, we do. I think this would be vital for adults as well.
Yeah, it's great for adults. I mean, we've had veterans contact us. We've had veterans with traumatic brain injuries that are just cannot remember to brush their teeth. This has been a life changer for them. It's on the
patients.
Nursing homes where we're talking to different assisted living programs. Imagine having a parent or a grandparent in a nursing home and just being able to just know that they're getting the care, that they remember to brush their teeth. In Massachusetts, I'm sure a lot of you know that when we get back to a normal school routine, the preschools are required to brush the kids' teeth.
Yes.
I mean, you can opt out of it, but sometimes that's the only brushing some of these kids are getting in certain programs.
Who have you marketed this to? I read a lot, and I haven't. This is the first I'm hearing of.
It's
this.
new. It's a new company. There's a campaign on Facebook that's targeted to dentists and hygienists to kind of get the word out. And we've had a really across the country, a really significant response from people that are very interested in it, because what it does, it addresses a problem that is just well known to all of us in the dental profession.
Well, now, especially with some people afraid to come in and they're missing hygiene appointments, I would think this would be vital.
Yeah, it's really been wonderful. And it's as far as the practices go, I think, especially practices that are really looking to set themselves apart and are really interested in expanding dental care beyond the dental office. This is just something that we can now offer the patients, and it's something they're asking for. It's just that we have a new answer to an old question now, and it's really in 2020, where there's so much to be like, oh gosh, this has been such a tough year. This is kind of like a bright light for us, that it's really something new and exciting that we can offer that just has really made a tremendous difference.
That's great. So you said $30. Now that's to the patient, or is that?
Yeah,
the
that's to
dental
the
office?
patient. And then depending on, depending on the amount that the practice is buying, it's probably, in the 15 to 20 for the tracker. And then in for the tracker, and then for the hub, it's, in the 12 to 15, something like that. So there is room there. There's room there for the dentist. I could make an argument for just having it be cost neutral and passing it to the patient, but it certainly would more than offset whatever devices we're giving away. At the end, you have the bag and you put the toothbrush and the toothpaste and the floss and all the other stuff in there. It would certainly offset that. I mean, as far as as far as the pricing, it really depends on the quantity that's being purchased. What we are doing now, and I'm the chief dentist for the company, so when I say we, that's the capacity that I have, as I'm representing them and I'm their consultant, is that for offices that are interested, hygienists, dental professionals, any of us that are interested in seeing and actually trying this for themselves or a family member, where we have complimentary trackers and hubs that we are offering to you, because we just want you to try it and to see for yourself how it feels. And the response
You go right onto your website to do that?
Yes, absolutely. So the way,
Because I don't upcharge any of my brushes because I want the patients to have them. So
Exactly.
the idea of this price breakdown, I mean, if say you charge $30 for the whole thing, the hub and the sensor, it's ideal because they're going to use it. Do you know what I mean? You start charging, they're going to go to Shaw's or wherever and get a power brush there that's probably not as good as ours, not this obviously, but I mean, the pricing is great.
Also, if you go on the website says that the tracker is $50 and the hub is $25. So they're not going to go to the website to buy it because it's a lot more money.
we are very
actual
aware.
retail,
The pricing is, the retail pricing right now, to be perfectly honest, the retail pricing that you're seeing on the website is high, but it's not the price that the dental office would get. I mean, the dental office is going to pay less than that, and then the retail price that the dentist would offer to the patient will be at or below what they can get. So that's not going to be.
Nowadays, people they don't have the money. So we've never marked them up. And I sell my power brushes out of the sky because they can get them cheaper than they can at Walmart. Fine. They'll say, oh, well, what's Walmart's price? Well, you're not going to get this brush any cheaper. So that's what we find anyway. So this
is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. Thank you for saying that. But it's the same thing like we offer, Prevident in our practice, a prescription level toothpaste. It's for patients who need them. And as a convenience, we'll offer it there. And we're not making any money on that, but they have it and it's the right thing to do. And that's the way this device feels. It feels like it's a part of a treatment plan and it's a part of a recommendation that we do. It's not sort of a side hustle to upsell or to do this other thing, because, it's really addressing a need, and it's a convenience for them, and patients are really, really appreciative of it, that we have that to offer. But on the website, if you go into truthbrush.com, there's a chat. It says chat down there, and it's actually connected to a real person, and it's a small company. So you're going to get somebody that's going to answer you right away and take your information. And that's a good way to get in touch with us. The other way is to email us directly. And that would be Rob, R-O-B, at Candibell, CANDIBELL.com. Candibell. That's the name of the company that owns Truthbrush. Rob at Candibell.com, or just go on truthbrush.com and click on the chat button. There's a little chat icon at the bottom.
Eric has been there for the last couple of days as I've looked at this.
And on there's also some videos. Ignore the one of me. It's amazing. It's a short little video, and it took us like 8 hours to do in my office, but it's like cringeworthy, I think, but some people like it. But there's a lot of information on there showing how the device works, and it shows the charts. And I apologize for this rudimentary doing this. I didn't have that other part prepared for you, but the website provides a lot of information on there.
And you're going to write an article for our newsletter as well.
We're going to put something together and we'll get that to you. My understanding is you need it by the 18th. So
right. Right,
do
for the
that.
January newsletter, right. And we
Yeah.
print it and mail that. It's an actual hard copy as well as being on the website. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Did anybody have any questions specific to how this works or how you could use it in your office? I had one dentist ask me about, he has patients, an adult practice, and he would do a crown and they, or a couple of crowns, and the patient would say, so are you going to warranty this crown for me? And my friend said, I have a lot of confidence in my work, but if you don't take care of your teeth, if you don't come and see me twice a year, if you don't brush your teeth, it's hard. How can I warranty this? And he was saying, with the toothbrush, you could say, look, if you use this toothbrush and you can show me that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and then you come in and see me and you keep these appointments, I will absolutely warranty these. And I said, well, that's a fantastic idea. That's great, And then he said, and I also have, I have orthopedic surgeons who will contact me, and I'll have to, clear a patient who's going in to have a joint replacement. Because a lot of the orthopedic surgeons don't want to do a procedure if people have a lot of plaque in their mouth, because they don't want to cause an infection in the joint from all the bacteria. Or same thing with a valve replacement or a heart valve replacement. We used to do a lot more of the prophylaxis for the SBE, the subacute bacterial endocarditis. So, rather than just taking a quick look and seeing plaque on their teeth, maybe having a device like this and have a patient using it for 2 weeks prior to a surgical procedure and then 2 weeks after, and demonstrating good plaque control, you're going to get a better outcome and have less of a problem after surgery. So it's kind of like the more you think about this product, the more applications it has, because it's such a universal problem of toothbrushing.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Doctor. We really
My
appreciate you
pleasure.
coming. And now I'm going to open up to our open forum. And what usually happens is this is an opportunity for our managers to chat. There's only 2 of you. So is there anything that you'd like to talk about, Kim or Kim?
No, this was so informative for me. I'm so excited I was able to join in because I miss you guys and I get so much from my meetings, and everything that we talked about today is something that I plan on implementing something out of it. I love the fit check idea. I'm so interested in the mask. The marketing tips were wonderful, and this brushing sensor, I can see this working in my practice 100%. I'm just happy to talk to other dental professionals, except for the people that I'm in the office with. I think they're getting sick of me. So go to your meeting, go to your meeting. In fact, my doctor said, don't you have a meeting to go to? Actually, yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Dr. Johnson, would you come to our office?
I'd be happy to come to your office.
Like do a demonstration for the hygienist?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. And I would love to come to your office. I would be happy to meet with you. What we've done, because it can be a little daunting because it's new. What we've done is we've done Zoom calls with dentists and hygienists and explain to them how this device works, how they can discuss this with the patients, and how they can get them to understand it, because it is a bit of a new concept for a lot of people. So we would be happy, we could come in person. I think during the pandemic, we've been a little bit less, we haven't done that yet because we've been able to do it with the Zoom call, but it's all about getting offices comfortable with the device. And what we have found usually in most dental offices when we present it to like the hygiene staff, and it's the hygienists that really fall in love with this product. And there's usually one hygienist or a couple of hygienists that are sort of the leaders of the group that people kind of like if you've got a champion in your office of somebody who just loves and believes in it. In our office, we have somebody really, really wonderful whose daughter's using it. And once her daughter started using it and seeing the difference it made, she started taking out her cell phone and showing our patients, look, this this is Brianna's brushing. Look, oh, she missed yesterday, or look what she's doing and how much better she's doing. And she said, it has just made a world of difference. So to actually get, for us to be able to connect with the hygienist and get them excited about using it, it makes it's really so enjoyable to share this with patients. It doesn't feel like you're selling to them. It really is, you're really able to provide a service. So it's really important that they're comfortable doing it, because you don't want to say, hey, go off and do this when they just don't have that. So
Well, it's like giving them a toothbrush and saying, go on your way.
Right. We provide them with all the tools and share our experience in how we do it. We also have, and we're developing something for the operatories, and it's a visual, it's going to be a vertical display that will show parents what this does, so it prompts them to have a conversation with you, so they can say, hey, what is this? I've heard about this. We also sent out some of you mentioned, I think Joe mentioned, sending out a practice-wide email. And during COVID, we were doing that, but we sent out an email saying, hey, we have this exciting toothbrushing program we want you to know about. So when people come in, you can say, oh, did you hear about our toothbrushing program? And then it's on our website. We have a link to the Truthbrush website on our website, so that there's a lot of different avenues for parents to see it, so that when you have a conversation, there's some familiarity there, because up until now, nothing like this has existed before. So there's a lot of education in getting people comfortable there.
So do you have a video that we could, so we have this horrible TV. It's not like connected to anything. It's just like a video. Do you have anything like that? Like, so people sitting in the waiting room, which they're not in there very long.
See, that's the thing. Like, that's a great idea, because this is, can you imagine like at Yankee being at a booth and having a big display and having somebody brush and showing it? I mean, you don't even need to say anything. That's the thing. You just look at it. And if you hold up your phone and you have a device and you can see it, people are like, I want it. Yes, there are videos on the website, and you could link them together and you could put it into a feed and probably show it. But we don't have a waiting room anymore. We've got a parking lot, So, but I think something like that would be excellent. Once we're back in the waiting rooms, is to have anything visual that can just demonstrate what this does. It doesn't take a lot. Like, the more you're talking about it, the less you just don't need to. People really get the concept if they can see how it works. So the web.
Send a complimentary one to my office so I can present it to them.
I know.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking the same thing. I want one.
Yes, all of you are welcome to get. We'd love to send you complimentary samples. So if you could just go on the website and click on that chat, or Rob at Candybell. If you want, if you could just do the Rob at Candybell, that's going to go directly where you want to go. If you go through the website, you will go to Rob. Okay. It's just an extra step, but Rob at candybell.com. Say that you were on here, say you're interested, tell us what the situation is in your office and how many sensors you'd like, and we'd be happy to send them to you so you can experience it and try it. And then we'll work with you and we'll put a program together and help you so that you can get it to your patients.
Awesome.
More than happy to. Just reach out to us and we'll do that.
Okay. And we
also a spot on the website says dental professionals, and you're gonna do it right there too.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, top right.
Well, yeah, on the website it says for dental professionals, and on there that's how you would set up your dentist portal, and that's how you register as a dentist who has these devices offering to offices, so that when a patient has the device, they go to a drop-down menu and your name appears there.
Okay.
And
Oh, good.
we're eventually going to have medallions that you can put on your website to say we are a Truthbrush office. You could click on that and it goes to the website. So it's part of a practice builder as well, to set you apart from other practices that you're offering this to your patients. So that's all coming, and coming very soon.
Okay.
Awesome.
We work closely with the orthodontist in the next building from us. May I pass it along to them?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, give them the website, have them get in touch with us so we can get some devices to them so they can try it.
Awesome.
Great. Awesome.
Thank you.
That's excellent.
Well,
Denver.
well, I just want to say it's a pleasure meeting everyone. I have 11:45, so I have to run. But Dr. Johnson, great presentation. Pam, thank you again. Joe, great to see you.
Same here, Denver.
All right.
Meet you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Denver.
Happy holidays.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Alrighty, I'll send out the recording tomorrow, or no, tomorrow Saturday, probably Monday by the time I get it. And I'll have all this contact information for all three of our speakers. And I hope everybody has happy
Wonderful.
holidays.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Pam.
much.
Really great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Bye-bye.